Ford added about 350 veteran engineers back into its quality org over 3 years because its AI couldn't match what they knew. You heard that as a story about AI. It was a purchase order. Everybody selling AI is hunting for a business that hasn't tried it yet, so you sell them the problem, the budget, and a vendor. All three. A business that already failed at AI bought all three once. So here are 10 ways to make money from businesses that failed at AI, ranked by how much of the job they've already put in writing. Number 10. The subscriptions nobody canceled. There's a line on some company's card statement for software, nobody's opened since March. One rule sorted all 10, then I'll leave it alone. 4 rungs, nothing written down inside the building, written down in public, or written down for you. That's the admission, and it's what ranks them. This is the bottom rung, where nothing's public and nobody wrote anything down, so you have to prove the failure exists before you can charge to fix it. Microsoft 365 Copilot is $30 per user per month on top of a base plan, and Microsoft put E3 up to $39 in July, which makes a Copilot seat about $69 all in. The $30 is the part you can switch off. They're paying for the E3 underneath either way. Vertice went through software licenses this year, all software, not just AI, and found 66% untouched or surplus. 15 points of that is pure shelfware, 0 activity, full price. And you don't invoice for your time here. You take 20% to 30% of the first year of savings, 200 seats, a quarter of them dead, that's $18,000 a year switched off, and about $4,500 of it yours. One catch. That $30 rides an annual commitment, so the money lands at renewal, not next month. Number 9. The content they published and then buried. In 2025, a marketing lead got told to scale content with AI, and they did, and it worked for about 6 months. Then Google's spam enforcement went at what it calls scaled content abuse, and by the SEO shop's own numbers, sites running big volumes of unedited AI pages lost 50% to 80% of their traffic. Their numbers, not Google's, so hold them loosely. Those are your clients. Now you're thinking, no business admits that to a stranger. Right, and they don't have to. Still the bottom rung on paper, but the wreckage is public anyway. SEMrush, or Ahrefs, shows an estimated drop off a cliff in March, and the pages that caused it are still sitting there. So you walk in knowing what happened, which is a different conversation than asking a business to describe its own mistake. SEO retainers average $3,209 a month at an agency, $1,349 if you're the freelancer, which, fine, that's where you start. A standalone audit runs $5,000 to $10,000. And 78% of them bill flat monthly, so you're not inventing a pricing model, you're picking one. Next. Number 8. The app the AI built that nobody can touch. Picture the call you're walking into. A founder with a demo that works. It logs in, it takes payments, it looks good. And the one developer who'll open the repo is quoting 3 weeks for a change that should take an afternoon. It shipped, and then it stopped being changeable. Nothing's written down here either, but you don't need it to be, because the failure is the product and you can click it. Fastly asked 791 developers last year. 28% fix AI-generated code, often enough that it cancels out most of the time it's saved. 14% rarely touch it. Most sit in between. The thing got built in Cursor or Lovable or Replit. It exists, and honestly that's further than most businesses get. You want the ones that got that far. Your job is turning it into something a team can maintain. Tests, structure, the parts nobody asked for. Published rates for that work run $100 to $300 an hour. Nobody's paying you for the demo. They already have the demo. And if you want the tools we lean on for cleanup work, they're in the description. Free, no email needed. Number 7. The pilot that stalled on the spreadsheet. This one's the pilot everybody announced in January, and nobody mentions now. It's all written down. Just know where you can see it. It didn't fail on the model. It failed underneath. On 4 systems that don't agree on what a customer is. It's a house where somebody ran the wiring 3 times in 3 different years and never labeled the box. Gartner expects 60% of AI projects without AI-ready data to get abandoned through this year. Back in 2024, it asked 248 data management leaders whether they had the right practices. 63% either didn't or weren't sure which. Not sure, that's most of a room full of the people whose actual job this is. Some of you will say that sounds like a data scientist job and you're not one. Fair enough, and most of it isn't. Most of it is you finding where the data lives, who owns it, who's allowed to see it, and getting one definition agreed by 3 departments who've each had their own for years. That's a project manager with patience, not a PhD. This is advisory work, so it bills like it. Freelancers get $75 to $150 an hour. Boutique firms get $150 to $350 for agreeing on what a customer is. I know. Number 6, the agent that was never an agent. Number 7, at least tried something and hit a wall. This one bought a word. Gartner counts roughly 130 real agentic AI vendors out of the thousands claiming to be one, and expects more than 40% of agentic projects canceled by the end of 2027. So there's a renewal invoice sitting in a lot of inboxes for something that turned out to be a chatbot with a fancier login page. That invoice is the writing. They signed for it. You can argue this belongs higher. Fine. It's my list. You take what they thought they were buying and build the actual version in N8N or Make.com. N8N Starter is €24 a month. Make Core is $16. Say those numbers out loud on the call, because that's the whole argument. Build work bills above advisory, so $175 to $300 an hour as a specialist. The offshore floor is $35 to $75, which, yeah, is the same work. And keep this one in mind, because the way you find these businesses is number 1. Number 5, the rollout nobody used. We bought it for the whole team and nobody opens it. You'll hear that sentence in a lot of rooms this quarter. The licenses are live, the seats are assigned, the usage report is flat. And this is a different failure from number 10. Nobody noticed the spend there. Here somebody did, it's in a slide, and a manager has to explain it. That's the rung up. Written down, but inside the building, so somebody already wrote your problem statement for you. They don't need another tool. They need you to sit with 4 departments and rebuild what those people do all day, with the thing they already pay for. You'd charge $3,000 to $8,000 for a half day with a team of up to 25. Full day, $6,000 to $15,000. A real multi-day program, $8,000 to $40,000 for the cohort. For teaching people to open software they already own, and you're not selling AI to them, they already bought AI. Number 4, the humans they have to hire back. Klarna said its AI assistant was doing the work of 700 people and handled over 2.3 million conversations in the first month, about 2/3 of its chats. Then customers hit the cases the bot couldn't hold, and the company reversed and started hiring humans. It said all of that out loud, in public, which is why this outranks the slide in number 5. What it runs now is both. AI takes routine volume, humans take escalations, and the customer's worth real money. That sounds like proof AI doesn't work. It isn't. Nobody designed the handover. They bought a bot, pointed the whole queue at it, and never wrote the rules for when it's out of its depth. That's your job here, and it isn't technical. You decide which tickets a machine can own, what the escape hatch is, what a customer sees when it hands over, and who gets paged. Advisory rates again, $75 to $150 an hour, and the good version is a fixed engagement, 4 to 6 weeks, priced like the workshops in number 5. Number 3, the knowledge that walked out the door. There's a camera on a line somewhere, flagging a part as fine, and the guy who would have caught it took a package in 2023. Ford hired, promoted, or rehired around 350 veteran engineers and specialists over 3 years, after finding its AI quality systems couldn't match what those people could see. Ford's hardware engineering VP said the mistake was assuming that feeding AI the design requirements would produce a quality product. And here's the part you want. The experienced people left before anybody wrote down what they knew, so the tools got trained on documents instead of judgment. 2 years later, Ford took number 1 in J.D. Power, initial quality for the first time in 16 years. I'm not telling you 350 people did that alone. It's still a wild turn. Most businesses that cut headcount on an AI promise have a smaller version of this. 1 department, 1 person, now the only one left who knows something. So the work is capture. You sit with whoever's left and pull the decisions out of their head into something a system can use. Notion, a shared doc, whatever they run. Price it like the pilot work, $75 to $150 an hour, and it runs for weeks because there's always one more person who knows one more thing. And why does this sit higher? Because companies announce these hires, publicly, with titles on them. Number 2, the paperwork the law now asks for. 2 weeks ago, a deadline passed that a lot of your future clients missed. On August 2nd, the UOAI Act's Article 50 transparency obligations became enforceable. That's the disclosure layer, telling people when they're talking to an AI, when content is synthetic. The heavier high-risk requirements got pushed to 2027 and 2028 under the Digital Omnibus, so anybody telling you the whole thing landed this month is selling urgency that isn't real. But the disclosure part is live, and the tier covering it is 15 million euros or 3% of global turnover, whichever is higher. Now, this is the one where the business didn't write the brief. The regulator did. What the business published is the bot itself, sitting there with nothing on it. And the first question on the call is whether the act reaches them. It bites if they touch the EU market. Plenty of small US companies don't, and you say so instead of selling them a deadline. The exposure showed up years before the law anyway. When a customer sued Air Canada over what its chatbot told him about bereavement fares, the airline argued the bot was basically its own legal entity, responsible for itself. The tribunal didn't buy it for a second. Air Canada paid $812 Canadian, $650 of it damages, the rest interest and fees. Small claims, binds nobody, and still the number every company running a bot got read back to them. What you're selling is documentation, logging, and disclosure. Boring, billable, and it comes back every time they ship something new. Number 1. The job they already posted. Every other one on this list still needed you to interpret something. This one is already scoped. They write it up for you. The problem, the scope, what it's worth. Then they publish it, with a date on it, and pay a job board to put it in front of you. That's the top rung. AI quality assurance roles post at $95,000 to $165,000. Data remediation analysts average $82,640. And you're not applying. Read what's in the posting. Evaluate the model outputs, set up a review process, clean up the AI-generated documentation. That's not a job description. That's a scope of work they paid somebody to write. And here's the part that decides what you make. A salary is not the budget. Load it with payroll tax, benefits and overhead, and the business approved 25% to 40% more than the number on the posting. A $95,000 role is closer to $120,000 of committed spend. Price against the posting, and you've underbid the thing they already said yes to. So you go back with the contract version. Same outcomes, fixed scope, no requec to sit in. And under all 9 of the others sits one question. Where do the clients come from? They come from here. Tenders and postmortems do it too, but a job board updates daily. That's the biggest admission you'll find. Everywhere else you're reading wreckage. Here they typed it out and hit publish. So that's the 10. And look, none of this is glamorous. Every one of these is somebody else's unfinished job, and the person who gets paid is the one who'll walk into a mess another person made and just finish it. Nobody's handing you a fresh problem with no history on it. The work that pays you is the work somebody already gave up on. So of the 10 ways to make money from businesses that failed at AI, tell me which one you'd actually go do this week. And if you've cleaned up after one before, I want to hear it. Everything we use is in the description, and the video on finding these before they post is next. Sell to the ones who already wrote it down.